Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today, I wanted to actually do a video where we went through the whole blog post that Fat Girl Flo wrote about how she can't wipe. But I found myself, while I was reading it, I kind of was getting so triggered. And I've realized that some of the fat acceptance stuff, it's been getting to me. And I want to talk about it. So I want to talk about this issue in general. And I don't know if it's a function of being within my deficit again, especially at this time of the year, or if it's just something I'm going through. But I'm very disturbed by the blog post of Fat Girl Flo, where she basically talks about how she can't wipe her butt, and basically she's too fat to wipe. She was too fat to wipe from 2020. She worried about getting back to work because she couldn't do that. She needed a bidet and all this stuff. And I don't know if it's still kind of too fresh, for me, where it's like, I was really struggling with my health even just last year. It hasn't been that long. I only reached a point of feeling somewhat normal, somewhat, in October. And I don't know if just reading the article, it brought a lot of things to the surface about a lot of stuff that I gave up in being this obese. And I don't think people think about the limitations that are forming in their lives as they're gaining weight a lot of the time. I think we often, as very, very fat people, think about being fat as being a sort of freedom, in the way that we're always thinking about what we can eat, right? So I'm eating whatever I want, therefore I have freedom. But that's not always the case. A lot of times in eating whatever you want, you're actually giving up so much. And to see this person, she gave up the ability to wipe herself on the toilet. And she even writes about how it's so foundational. Like this part right here. The truth is that I felt a lot of shame about this. Like when I spent hours in therapy talking about how my body had betrayed me so much that I couldn't even do something as natural and standard as wiping one's own butthole. I felt ashamed while I sobbed in front of my then supervisor, admitting to her that I couldn't return to work in person because I couldn't care for my own toileting needs. It's just, it's so dark to me. I don't know if it's that I'm losing weight now, or, I've been working on this process, or maybe just that I've recovered to a certain extent where I see things deeper. And I have a question for Fat Girl Flo. If you felt that way, then why are you stigmatizing another content creator for being able to wipe their own butt again? Why are you telling that person that they're ableist and trying to stigmatize the fact that this person has lost enough weight where they can now wipe again? If you understand the shame, if you understand how difficult that must be, why do you want somebody else to suffer? I think it's a really important question. And I can say, like, why do you feel the need to call this person a good fatty, and they're trying to be popular, and they're trying to do this, and they're trying to do that? Like, it's not true. You're one of many voices that I'm sure this poor woman is hearing right now, because she dared to pursue health. She dared to even question just the narrative of fat acceptance. She's getting probably tons and tons of comments about this. And I commend her that she isn't feeling shame and all that stuff, and she's willing to say it out loud and this type of stuff. I think it's good. I have my reservations about weight loss medication, but I'm kind of just reserving that for probably another video, so I'll talk about that later. But I think what's crazy to me is just that the very idea of being able to do something that you couldn't do before because of your weight loss is something that upset this person. And I understand that so many in fat acceptance are incredibly hateful, toxic, jealous, horrible people. I completely understand that. And I think that that has to be said many, many times. If you are in fat acceptance and you are pushing these things, I want you to know that you're not convincing anybody, that we know that you are not morally superior at all. I cannot stand how they act as if they are morally superior when this person is rooting against somebody getting the ability to wipe themselves again, because she would rather eat and eat and eat and eat than be able to wipe herself. It's just, it is so sad. And I'm trying to understand the mindset, but I don't think I can. And to use disabled people as a weapon, when I don't think there are very many disabled people at all that would be upset about somebody getting the ability to do something again. I can't even imagine that, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it's just so sad. I don't know. I didn't expect it to hit me, because it's kind of funny on the surface, and obviously when I first heard about it, I laughed and I was like, oh my gosh, but when I kind of looked into it deeper, it's like, she is shaming this person for being able to do something like that again. Like, why can't you just be happy for somebody? Why can't you just put your own BS aside and just be happy for someone? It's just so disturbing. And I think in a lot of ways, I fear some of my future a little bit too. I think that's also why it triggered me, because I've lost weight, but it's not threatening. I think FAs and whatever, they probably see how much weight I've lost, and it's not reached a tipping point yet. But I know that it will, and it kind of scares me just because I hope I can handle it. I hope I can, because the truth is, like, a lot of us, like a lot of people that are very big, on a psychological level, the weight is a form of protection. And even though I've hated this mid-fat phase, which I have talked so much crap about it, where mid-fat is when you're kind of like, you're in between being, very, very, very big, which is super fat, which is what they call super fat, or you're not a small fat either, you're in between. And I've complained about it a lot because there's kind of a huge branding issue with being this size, just because it's very hard to market it. For YouTube, for example, it's not interesting. And on YouTube, most of your success is determined by your appearance. It's just a fact. And we can be depressed and sad about that and, talk about that another day. But the truth is, it has been an issue for my channel to be this size. It's even been an issue in my dating life. And there was a time this summer where I was completely invisible in public even, which is really disturbing, and it was alarming. And I know now, that I'm continuing to lose weight again, and I know that invisibility cloak is going away. And so I think there's a lot of us where we do have the weight as a protection mechanism, even on a subconscious level. And I just don't know how I'm going to handle it when I've lost more and I'm a bit more vulnerable. I don't have the same psychological framework I did when I was more ill. And so when I see something like this, I see it on such a deep level of how dark it is, where there are so many barriers to people losing weight, especially from very big sizes. And one of them is this protection mechanism, and to attack somebody when they're losing weight, when they're feeling vulnerable. I worry about if I can handle it myself. But to see it happen to somebody else, it is just another reminder of how horrible it is to be fat. Imagine the reverse incentives for your health. Isn't that crazy? And I know that most people do accept it. Like they're happy and all that stuff. And I try to keep my perspective on the right things, but I do worry about that aspect of it, of what happens when I've lost so much weight that it is threatening. And I know that I can handle it because I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of tough, so to speak. But it's still something that I'm nervous about a little bit, just because, again, it's like, even as a small fat person, it's like I'm still fat. still kind of in that category, or I still will be. And it's just like, I don't know how I'm going to navigate it. And I think it's just one of those things where it triggered me about the unknown, and to just see that there are people that are really going to be upset. And I think it's scary. And I don't understand why this person would be genuinely upset and attacking somebody for losing weight like that, for getting their health back. See, like right here. The anti-fatness is almost to be expected. We're seeing many influencers ride whatever wave brings them praise and popularity, especially if it means they're hopeful of transitioning into the realm of the straight size audience instead of being pigeonholed into the plus size world. I understand the desire to receive praise for fitting in and being a good fatty by pursuing weight loss. I'm sympathetic to those feelings. So it's interesting because I think a lot of times fat acceptance activists, they act as if they don't shame people. They act as if they don't guilt people, or that they're just living their lives. I actually had somebody comment. I've had a couple of FAs commenting on my channel lately. I think they're feeling very threatened by the new year and this kind of stuff and whatever. I'm sorry that reality is hurting your feelings. But don't ever believe that they don't shame people. Don't ever believe that they're just living their lives. They're not, I understand that, in choosing to lose weight publicly, there's a likelihood of being hated in the future. And I'm okay with that, but it's still hit me tonight where I'm like, I'm a little nervous, but there's a lot of support for her. I support Rosie's ability to wipe again. I can't believe I have to say that. Gosh, it's just like, what is the world coming to, I'll always support your dreams to be healthy. I'll always support your dreams to lose weight. I'll always support your dreams to get out of super morbid obesity for anybody. It's just, I'm trying my best to show the way out, and it's just like, I know it'll be tough. So I'm preparing myself, I guess. I have to prepare myself for the future. But anyways, that was my thoughts on that. If you guys were wondering, I wanted to talk about it because the fatosphere blew up, But it's just, I found myself a lot of times with these takes this year. It's like, I get so angry, and then I get really sad, and I try to come back to center because I know that that's what you guys need from me, is to be centered. And I'm understanding kind of my role in this, and I'm just understanding how to approach this and all this kind of things, and I'm still figuring it all out. But it was just like, just please be supportive of people, especially if they're pursuing for their health. Like, that's all I have to say, because Nadia Nymph made a video today, and she talked about the crabs in a bucket mentality. And she talked about how it's so pervasive in the fat movement, in fatness. And it is. And we got to break that. We've got to break it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I know that they're kind of all over the place, but it really upset me to read that blog post. It was just so disgusting. Truly. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go with that. This is kind of a weird video, but I wanted to comment on it. And this is what I had. So I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.